So almost 2 years ago, we moved house, and it was quite the process. The actual day was fine. In fact, it was great, and I'm going to tell you why in just a second. But the process was long, really long. Lots of back and forth, lots of admin. You know the situation. Anyway, so we knew we were moving March the 4th. And we were ready. Also, loads of us, like all four of us, had COVID in February. So the combination, and we also didn't all get it at the same time. So over that 4-week period, lots of us were self-isolating at different times. And also, if your children are self-isolating, you kind of got to hang out with them and be there with them. So the day came, March the 4th, and everything was packed. We were all ready and good to go. And we hired a local removal company. And I have this thing which I don't need to have, and I don't know where it's come from. I think it's come from that thing of like, just be kind and helpful. Be kind and helpful all the time, which of course are great attributes. But also know your skill set, Raby. And I was getting in the way. When those removal people turned up, I was sort of like standing about. And I like to think that I have good self-awareness. So I very quickly realised that my place was not to be standing in people's way. And when I saw a fella lift a chair in one arm and a bookcase under the other arm and began to walk down the stairs, I was like, okay, these people are really excellent at what they do, and I can't lift a chair and a bookcase at the same time in an effortless way. So they began to pack up all the van, and it was 2 trips, 4 hours, and 5 men. Incredible. I mean, we didn't move that far, but to pack up a family of 4, I was in awe. Anyway, when they did the second trip, that was when our big corner sofa was going to come. And I do remember this sofa being delivered to our old house, and the people who delivered it were not enjoying the process. It was a big old brew. It had to go around corners. It was a really awkward space. Like once it was in, great. But previous to that, no, they did not like that process. Anyway, these removal people got the sofa out, no problem. And I went into the living room and half of the sofa was there. One of the chaps came up to me, and you know how they do. You know when people have that look, that sort of smiley and noddy face, and you already know they're going to tell you something about what's not working or what's not happening, or they just need to ask you a little question, and you know it might be tricky. So the main guy came up to me and said, you know the other half of the sofa? I was like, yes. He said, it's too big to go through the door. It's too big to go through the door. Right. And this is me after I was all, smug of like, great, look, half of it's in already. No problem. Smooth sailing. And I said, okay. But the great thing was, because he was an expert, he actually didn't need anything from me, because already he had several ideas up his sleeve. So he said, so this is what I'm thinking. We can take it through this door, through the neighbour's garden, and up the spiral staircase. Now, you'll have seen maybe on my Instagram, we've got a spiral staircase off our living room. And I immediately went into caring zone of like, are you okay to do that? Like, is that possible? And he was like, yeah, we'll give it a go. No worries. We'll give it our best shot. And if that doesn't work, we'll come up with something else. And the point of this whole story is that even throughout that process, I was deeply uncomfortable. As soon as those blokes started lifting this thing, I became like something out of Jane Eyre or Pride and Prejudice. Like, I'm just going to go and busy myself upstairs, because I wasn't going to watch. I couldn't bear it. It was too much, because it wasn't in my skill set. what is the point of this long-winded story, Nikki? The point is, I want you to think about your skill set. The stuff that you can do, no problem, easy peasy. Yeah, I've already thought about, if that doesn't work, I've got 5 other different solutions. And who can you work with, like me, that in that moving situation, and that person is like, I just don't know how this is going to happen. Or they know they couldn't lift it on their own. So say they said, sorry, we can't lift it in, love. We're just going to have to leave it in your front garden. I wouldn't have then been able to do anything by myself. Even though I've got a positive mindset and all of that, I can't lift half a sofa by myself. And that is not a limiting belief. That is fact. And so I want you to sit with this question. What is this thing that you can do effortlessly in your sleep with all of your wealth and knowledge, and just make it look seamless and full of possibility and maybe even enjoyable? There are accountants like this who just go, I'm going to give you a list. There are solicitors like this who's like, don't worry, I've covered it. There are fitness trainers who can look at your physique and say, you know why you're getting that knee pain, don't you? It's because you're lifting wonkily. Obviously, I'm not a personal trainer, but you know what I'm saying? There are so many people like that. The aim of this beautiful game of a portfolio career / personal brand is to work out what your thing is and then package it up brilliantly. And these movers got the most incredible tip. We bought them loads of beers, and I wrote a magnificent Google review for them, which I know because Google will let me know. It's been seen something like 3,000 times. And if you're typing moving and into and like the local area, my review comes up. So think about all of those things. Don't try and do all of the things. You know, the movers weren't recommending paint colors, but this massive brown chair I've got behind me, they knew how to take the legs off and they knew how to angle it and get it in without taking the window out. So that's it for today. We're not moving anytime soon because it's still, I can still remember it like it was yesterday, but it was 2 years ago. That's it for today. If you need help with that, packaging, pricing, all of that good stuff, send me a message. Let me know what you need help with. Even if you've got a list of questions at this stage, I don't know if it's this or this. I don't know how to deliver it. Is it this way or is it this way? That's what I do. That is my jam, and I'll see you next time. Bye.